Is it?
Liquid Arrow era?
Yeah, we're in the
Are you
on
okay?
we're in the broken era. It's been a long day. I've had to do Tarkov stuff. I've had to do Star Citizen stuff. I've had to do Broken Arrow stuff right
Oh,
before we go live, and then we got the debrief going on. So, and we
yeah.
ran an ad.
I heard about the Star Citizen org meeting. That's going up as well, I guess.
Yeah, we had our first attempt at like subversion, maybe. If
Oh,
that's
cool.
the
Okay, okay.
correct if that's the correct word. And welcome to
Sure.
the Debrief podcast, by the way. So we're just getting into it. We are live also, or at least I am over on Twitch. But
I'm alive.
Bolt has been yeah, Bolt is alive, and he's also been live quite a lot. I think you've streamed every day, have you not? At least for the release.
Intermittently, but yeah, I
Okay.
had a 10-hour stream 2 days ago, and then a couple other streams. Yeah, I streamed 3 times this week, but I took this week off, so that kind of made that possible.
Okay.
It'll be a bit more rare during the week, but I'll try to do like Saturday streams.
Right. I was actually just gonna ask. So did you? Because you like took this week off
Yeah,
for
yeah. I got back
release.
from a work conference last week. I was in Italy, and then I got back on Sunday evening. I set up everything, and then just went full crazy on streaming and videos. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're back to normal life tomorrow.
So yeah, starting tomorrow. But in the evenings, I'll still be playing and recording and playing and recording, making tutorials, and
Okay.
probably live stream more in the weekend. Or it kind of depends. Let's say tomorrow I have enough videos ready, but let's say I just want to go live after dinner. I'll go live for like 5 hours.
Okay.
It might still happen.
So if people want to find you, you'll be around. You'll be posting. You'll be live pretty consistently then.
Yeah,
Okay.
every
Cool.
day for probably the next 3 years, I'll have a video.
Got it. And if you guys do want to find it, make sure you jump down into the description because, of course, we are posting this on my channel, the Autistic Armchair General. But Bolt, of course, has his own stuff going. So you got to go follow Bolt. Link in the description as well as the pinned comment. So yes, we have been going. I've been streaming pretty much every single day, and our two experiences were actually quite different. We played a few games together, just a few, but Bolt mostly plays with his community. I went and started this Discord with a bunch of creators, some of them much bigger than both of us combined, and it was a experience to say the least. They were all new players. There were not any experienced players. However, we were able to invite FLX. We were able to invite some of the playtesters. We were able to invite some of the devs, as well as some other experienced creators who were in the space to that Discord, and they've been
It
able
was
to help
fun.
them out a whole bunch. On that note, though, it is kind of the consensus of some of the larger creators in that Discord that 5v5 is too much for certain creators. I'm
Oh,
starting to wonder if I am included in that. Bolt, I don't know if we were in any of these games, but it is extremely consistent, at least for the first few days there, actually, before they made this update, that I would get recognized in every single game. Not every single game, very, very consistently. And
yeah, I had a lot of them as well. They were like, "Oh, is that Saucy?" I was like, "Yeah."
yeah,
Holy shit!
yeah.
And then we just
Unfortunately,
played.
yeah, unfortunately on my end, people fucking hate me. There's a few
Oh,
people out there that definitely hate me. So they would come stream snipe me, and then of course there were other people for the other creators that we were playing with that would go and stream snipe them as well. So it ended up not being a good experience for those creators, but now we can change our name. I haven't gotten it as often anymore. But if people happen to be watching, then that'll also be an issue. So this is something that we knew could happen. The only
yeah.
thing that we can do really is play through it. If we can try and do some in houses and things like that, but it's possible that it gets worse in the future, but we'll see. And ideally, play as many games as possible off stream. So we'll see what that ends up looking like. But that was basically my first week. Was able to get plenty of good games. I'll be posting those pretty consistently. Was able to do what I could against literally some of the best players in the world. It only took us about a day before I was taking these creators who were newer to the game literally into the top teams in the world because of I would think it was my ELO or I keep it's ELO. But I think it's almost maybe there's something else that tracks like your skill level in this game because I no kidding would match and still match against quite literally the top 10 players in the world very consistently. So when I am playing with new players, that is not ideal. So we've had a bit of a fork in the road or a wrench thrown into things here in terms of being able to play with creator friends who are new to the game in a multiplayer sense. So it was not the smoothest of first weeks for me, but I think once we get these community games going and whatnot, it could end up being smoother. But
That'll make it better.
yeah, and that's what you started with. So how's that been going?
It's been pretty good, pretty good. I think the 5v5s I've been doing is relatively with newer players, but they're kind of going up to like level 10 to 15. So we are matching with relatively the same level players. So that part of it has been going pretty good. We've tried a couple in-houses, but with in-houses, it's always difficult to get balancing going, you know, because then there's no auto matchmaking. You kind of gotta get a feel for, okay, that person is pretty good. That person is a bit more sit back and enjoy the kind of player. But I think in terms of matchmaking, it's been quite solid. I think, honestly, I haven't seen any big imbalances. Sure, if you get a couple of new players in your team, you're going to be matched with probably low elo enemy team, or you might get up tiered based on the average elo. I think it does an average and then just matches it, matches another lobby with a somewhat average and similar elo. But for me, it's been good. I haven't had any big imbalances in matchmaking. I think maybe once or twice, but that's probably just down to how many other teams are looking. So then it just matches you with something.
Right. Yeah, exact opposite here. Significant issues, constant significant issues with matching. But it was, like I said, I chose to do that. I should have thought that there was a better way of doing things, but also the people that I was playing with, the other creators I was playing with, they were pretty optimistic that they would be able to figure this stuff out, and I don't think that they really fully grasped the nuance that this game has, the complexity that this game has, perhaps, when you go into a multiplayer match, which we kind of talked about. We kind of knew that was coming, but at the same time, I don't want to tell people what they can and can't do. And we've got 40,000 people online right now. I don't know if you could see that. Actually, you're not live or recording or nothing, but it only pops up. All right, 39,000. There was 42,000 people online a minute ago when we just started up, and this is
really good.
Yeah, that's fucking great. So I think once some more tools come out, maybe potentially some more gameplay or game modes, something like that, it might be able to help out some of my creator friends who are not digging the game at the moment because of if we want to get down this topic, we can, but I think this might deserve its own thing. If you do happen to play solo, it's obviously much more difficult to like carry a game or to do well with other people when you're not in a Discord call against people that are in a Discord call. And something that could alleviate that just in the game mode itself is a 3v3 mode. I DM'd FLX the other day about that, and he literally didn't respond to it. He ghosted me on that one in particular. Whether he saw it or not, because he's a busy fucking dude with the game release and all that stuff. That's totally possible. He's usually pretty good at responding, and he did respond to some stuff after the fact about some mods and some scenarios and stuff like that I've been building. But he just didn't seem interested, or he doesn't seem to want to, interact with any mention of like a 3v3 mode. But I'm in the belief that I believe that if there was a 3v3 mode, it would be beneficial to the game. Yeah, however, they would have to remake a lot of these maps. But we can do that with the scenario editor. We can do a lot of that. We can make the map. Did you mess around with the scenario editor at all?
No. Not yet, no.
Right.
I'm gonna remake the world in conflict, or just get a feel for it first. Make some basic scenarios.
Dude, it is advanced. You can do a lot, dude. Throbra, who viewers won't know, but one of our close friends and longtime community member, someone that we've been playing Wargame with forever, is trying to make a tower defense game within the scenario editor, and you can totally do it. You can make triggers. You can have different, invisible objectives and things like that. You can take away units. You can manipulate decks. You can give decks. You can take away decks. Like, you can create your own RTS within the scenario editor that is completely different than Broken Arrow if you wanted to. Completely. It's crazy, dude. And then with the addition of like further mod support, which has hit some barriers here, with some issues that you guys could probably would imagine with people that are trying to, affect the game files to do naughty things. They've had to put up some barriers with that stuff, but eventually we'll find a way to get through that stuff. Anyway, with the scenario editor, I think there's going to be a way to, well, there is a way to decrease the size of maps, and you can also manipulate spawns. So I think what we can do is we might be able to create an environment that is better for solos. By we, I mean I don't know if anybody else is actually working on this, but through the scenarios, I've seen some pretty interesting stuff. I think that I'm going to be able to get into scenario editor and potentially make an entirely new setup for the game mode, or just game mode and maps in general, where you are playing as a 3v3 and the game just kind of flows differently. The spawns change based off of what you own and what you don't own. Potentially your income can change, things like that, to help alleviate some of the weirdness that might come from not being able to play 5v5 and things like that. I've got a lot of plans for that kind of stuff, but generally speaking, the game's been cool. When you actually get into an even game, when you're playing with your buddies, it's been genuinely a lot of fun. Genuinely. Anything on the balance side that you want to get into in terms of units in particular, perhaps?
Yeah, I think there's a big issue with balancing. So pretty much most games that I see, I will build like a good defensive line. There will be some infantry, tanks holding here and there, helis in the back, whatever. Infantry just gets blasted the moment they're spotted by vehicles. They're very squishy. There's just no, like, I feel like they reverted them again. Like, they were okay in the previous beta that we played. They were not as bad, but now it feels like if there's a tank in front of a building out in the open, I have a javelin squad, and we both engage each other at the same time, the javelin squad is dead. It's like all the infantry is grouped up in one, just looking at the tank from one window. Like, the entire 12-man squad is all bunched up in one room looking at the tank and kind of like putting up a flare of, hey, here I am, shoot me please. It feels like that. So I think that is a big issue. Infantry needs to be more buffed. And vehicle spam it just works. I see just a convoy of vehicles just fast moving through your lines. They will get destroyed, but they will also destroy all of your stuff and probably take 2 conquest points. Most of the time, it doesn't really affect the outcome. We always blast them away with, cluster bombs and F-35s and this and that. But it is very annoying. Like, you will build this very nice, intricate defensive line, AA, further back you have your artillery, whatever. You got your drones out, you got nice sniper recon there, javelins here and there, and they just fast move through your shit and just destroy it all. And that kind of just annoys me, because then you're just spending 25 minutes recovering, and then they just do it again. So I've had that happen so many times, and that kind of annoys me. So now I just keep a very flexible, thin front line, and I just let them attack me, and then I just do surgical strikes here and there, recon behind them and counter battery, small groups of attacks, and see what where the opening is, and then I just flood it through. But yeah, most of my games, they just fast move armored vehicles through my lines and win the fight, but not the they win the battle, but not the war, basically.
Did you play
it's
somebody named?
More of an annoying thing.
Did you happen to play somebody named Doug yesterday?
I played many people. I don't know.
I changed my name to Doug. I've been flattening people. A topic that came up yesterday is are you going to make an infantry deck? And I said, why?
Yeah.
So
I like
on
infantry.
that topic,
I will always
why?
I will always stick to that. But
yeah, I utterly rolled people yesterday with my Russian armored decks. And I think one was let's pull it up right now since we can play the game now. So we've got Armor Marine. Both of these games I'm going to be I'll be posting at some point in the next few days, because they were fucking Awesome. I have a armored motorized and a armored marine. That the armored motorized I just renamed to RU Urban. So Russian
Yeah.
Urban, because this thing just rolls urban environments. And there's 6 tanks, 4 T-15s, a couple of BTR 82As, a couple of BMOTs. I have 2 T-90M recons in there. I've got a couple of boomerangs, 2 incendiary grads, a TOS-1A, a couple of helicopters for recon. But there is nothing that this deck can't do, and all you need to do is smoke your way up to a building, hide behind it if there's some ATGMs in there. But with the way that the game works right now, with the balance set up between infantry and vehicles, I am certain that the path to victory in urban environments is vehicles, and that should not be the case. So
It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what they can do to fix it, but with all of
Well,
these different weapon systems and things like that, it's just I'm going to continue to roll people unless something massively changes with infantry.
yeah. I mean, it needs to. Like everyone is gonna complain about it. Everyone is gonna complain. Oh well, they just fast moved 7 tanks and I lost
Yeah.
all my shit. You know. You can't do that in any other RTS that I play. In War Game, hell no. War no, hell no. Steel Division, even you couldn't do that. You would get clapped.
Yeah. So you say, go ahead.
Yeah, infantry should be not just recon, manpad, and a tripwire.
Support
It should
teams.
actually be, yeah, it should be something you're afraid of getting into, like 4 skyscrapers going into the middle courtyard while there's infantry in all of those buildings. Most of the time, you can still just get out.
Yeah.
Just fast move through a corridor, you will get blasted because, there's APS, there's Iron Fist, whatever. So the first shots won't even do anything. If you have 2 squads firing at the same time, one is gonna hit, but that's not really gonna do much, you know? So even if you have 3 squads against 1 tank, then probably you will kill it. But it doesn't, with how much it costs, it just doesn't add up.
So bit of a genuine, honest back and forth debate we can have here on this. I find the infantry gameplay in these games, especially in urban environments, extremely boring. You are literally looking at buildings, which granted, the gameplay is already you're looking at icons, shoot at other icons most of the time. I've had a lot of people pop into chat and be like, why don't you zoom in? I'm like, peripheral, situational awareness, perhaps. But we totally are used to, even though in Wargame you could zoom in and see things just fine and it looked great. It's just, if you are any good at the game, realistically, you need to be zoomed out and you need to have situational awareness at all times around like what's going on. So you're pretty zoomed out. Which granted, in this game you can be, you're definitely a little closer than the other games. And in fact, now that I'm looking at it, I'm looking at my own. I have my own gameplay, so I can keep up with the comments from the video I just posted a minute ago. It seemed like from the previous test they might have zoomed out a little bit more. I don't know if I'm catching that or not. I don't know. I might be crazy. It seemed like it's a little bit further away than previous tests, but maybe I'm crazy. Anyway, so I mean, we've seen it in Wargame plenty. Once you enter a building, you are watching tracers and rockets fire from building to building. And then it's just you watch your you watch your numbers dwindle down, and then you move the squad around. I find it very uninteresting. Meanwhile, especially with these most recent games, when you are moving vehicles around, I have had legitimate, awesome vehicle fights in these urban environments with infantry being a threat along with vehicles. So I think what the actual issue is that people want to just fight with infantry because they are not adept enough. They're not experienced enough with the vehicle combat in this game to have them be a mixed force, to have them be complementary on each other. And what I'm able to see now with the amount of time I've put into this game, particularly with vehicles, and because infantry are so easy to understand and so easy to use in this game, that once I mastered vehicles, I can then just, okay, I'll start to use this infantry squad here. I'll start to use this SSO squad here. I'll start to use this Green Beret squad here. And it's now created this just overwhelming like dominance in urban environments that is genuinely like really, really cool. So again, for the reason of, back and forth here, I think that vehicle combat is just way, way, way more interesting. It's faster. It's just more versatile in general, rather than just watching some buildings shoot tracers at each other and then you click again. But that's my point of view on it. I don't know if that, if you have something to
I mean, yeah, that's just how you like
rebut.
to play, But I
Yeah.
think infantry should still not be this weak. If you don't like to play infantry, that's fine, but it doesn't mean they shouldn't, it shouldn't be a bigger threat. Like an ATGM squad should mess you up. It doesn't matter if you're an air player or a tank, tank enjoyer. It just doesn't feel like it's worth taking infantry. Like in the games that I do take, I now use my infantry as recon, manpads, or some special forces to hold key objectives, but you can't really push with infantry. Pushing you just do with 7 tanks and move them forward, while you have
Yeah.
AA here and there.
How do you want to address the stuff that if we bring up a bunch of topics, can I just like cut in, or what do you want to do back and forth? Okay. So realistically, we haven't seen a peer versus peer fight with ample in the real world with ample what would be the right word? Availability or something, I don't know. And of course over in Ukraine it's devolved into artillery and drone warfare and stuff like that. But I have a strong feeling that if there were plenty of these vehicles around, if there were plenty of these IFEs, if there were plenty of these tanks, this is what this would look like. Like you shouldn't push across a field. You shouldn't make advances, and hell, you can go back to World War II if you need to. You don't really make advances in most most of the vital portions of a front line with infantry. They support a spearhead, which has since the implementation of vehicles in warfare has always been, you push with your vehicles, you push with your armor, you push with your biggest gun, you flatten them, you bring up infantry for the flanks, you hold the front line. They are there for support. They're there to stop reconnaissance from getting through. They're there as basically a fence while you push through with vehicles. So I feel like that is what what you are capable of doing. It's what you're able to do in this game, but there's not enough people that realize that, and not enough people that do it just because they want to use infantry.
I mean, yeah, like it is also a game, right? You don't want to just have that be the strongest way to win. You want to have a balance. Like you should be able to win with infantry doing pushes like that. You should also be able to win with vehicles.
Well,
there should
when
be
you
multiple
say
ways to win. If it works just to fast move 7-8 vehicles, it's gonna kind of kill the game at some point if that is the remaining meta.
It definitely. I gotta make sure that you see these games that I had yesterday. They were genuinely fucking amazing.
No, it's enjoyable. I do it as well.
Well, it's the combined. So
yeah,
I those infantry that I fought were a genuine threat. It's just the right infantry. It's specific infantry. And they were a genuine threat because I need to address them while also addressing Abrams if I was Russia, while addressing T90s if I was the United States, while watching out with my fire support, because as the United States, if I'm playing with a striker deck, strikers can't sustain close quarters combat with infantry. They can eat a couple of rounds and they have one smoke grenade. Side note, we need to talk about smoke grenades at some point because I found something completely fucking ridiculous with those, especially in urban environments and completely unbalanced. Anyway, they only got one smoke grenade. Yes, they have APS, but they're generally pretty paper. But their thing is, if you allow strikers to get those javelins on those tanks, they're gonna fucking roll you. But if they are strictly just on their own, tanks are gonna roll them. So there's a bit of back and forth. So infantry are absolutely dangerous against strikers if you want to sustain. Strikers are absolutely dangerous to tanks if you can be in a supporting role, but you also need tanks and you also need something to distract those tanks. And then those tanks are absolutely dangerous to those strikers. So when I push T-15s through, Maws are dangerous. thermobarics are dangerous, but as it has always been, and as I am one of the first people to say, the T15 is not overpowered. It takes somebody that's used it as much as I have to realize, like, because you see it die, you see what it dies to. People are just not playing correctly. So the major strengths around a T15 are its gun, its 57 millimeter, is very effective at closer ranges between light-skinned vehicles, infantry, and helicopters. What it is not strong against is armor and armor gun, and like the gun, like so tanks. Essentially, I don't know why I was trying to get more cheesy with that. It's tanks. Tanks will kill T15s. So if you are moving around with T15s, your priority, your top priority is, oh shit, there's an Abrams over there. If your priority is, oh shit, there's an Abrams over there, you need to make sure that you have smokes and that you have ATGMs for those Abrams. So I think players need to realize that there are other ways to do things other than infantry, hold building, have ATGM, go boom, Bradley, have APS. Yeah, sure. You have to use everything, and you have to be prepared as possible. Do you want me to get into that thing before I lose my train of thought on the thing that's crazy overpowered?
No, keep going.
So smoke grenades. What makes them so powerful? Let's just have a bit of a conversation back and forth. So, just back and forth. So, like, what makes smoke grenades so powerful on vehicles? Just what comes to mind?
It's kind of a get out of jail, free card. If I see,
that's the perfect way to put it. You actually already nailed it. It genuinely is. I'm safe now. It's concealment, but literally you can't be seen.
It's guaranteed
it's
concealment.
100%. You are. That is the best way to put it. It's you're okay. I can back up.
Like three betas ago. That I don't know if was it Felix or was it a different game. I don't want to put any words in anyone's mouth, but I thought that if you have an ATGM go into a tank and that tank smokes, that there is a chance for the ATGM still to somewhat hit, but
it still does.
It doesn't seem like it. It seems like a 0%
no. It definitely does. 100% it does. When you see this gameplay too, you genuinely, I think I'm gonna be able to change your mind on some of this stuff when you see this gameplay that I had yesterday. I truly do, because it was full on combined arms. Infantry absolutely were a threat, but when they weren't a threat was when it was just a wall of infantry. That's the easiest thing to handle, but you need to use them with tanks. Once you see this, you're gonna be like, okay, fuck yeah, I'm doing that. Whether it's the people that I was fighting or what I'm doing. Because I used them too. I did use infantry. It was just, again, as a support role, and mainly if you're pushing with vehicles. Anyway, so it's a get out of jail free card. Sometimes things do get through. Now, is it desync? I'm not sure. But sometimes things do get through, and it is really painful when you get used to that smoke being your get out of jail free card. You pop the smoke, and the tows get through anyway. And you lose your vehicle that you really didn't think that you were going to lose. So, but that still does happen. Again, whether it's desync or not, who's to say? Anyway, it's a get out of jail free card. How many smokes does the common tank have in general? It's 2. Every single tank in the game has 2 smokes. How many smokes does a common infantry fighting vehicle and or transport have when you have the ability to equip it? It's 1. However, how many US IFVs do you think can carry 2 smokes, Bolt?
I've never thought of that. Is it the Bradleys? Do they just carry 1?
Just that, like, so Bradleys can count as 1. A certain type of striker can count as 1. You have the ACVs. You have lots of stuff. Yeah. How many do you think can carry 2?
Honestly, you don't even know.
Yeah, you don't, because it's 0. It's 0. Yeah, there you go. It's 0.
Yeah.
How many Russian IFVs do you think can carry 2?
All of them.
5. There's 5 different Russian IFVs that can carry 2 smokes on top of the tanks, which there are many. So, when you bring that up with the developers or a playtester or anybody that just feels like they have the answer to everything and the balance is fine in the game, what's the obvious difference between US IFVs and Russia IFVs? It's the APS. So they're like, no, but they have APS. What happens with the APS? What happens with that situation? It stops ATGMs. What doesn't it stop? Literally anything else. And also, if there was a second one right behind it, it won't stop the second one. What does smoke stop? Literally everything. Sure, it's concealment. It's not a wall, but it literally stops everything. You will not get hit most situations. So again, unless there is a bug where sometimes when I do see that sometimes those ATGMs are going through or when those things do get through, smoke is insanely way more useful than APS. Although APS does save your ass, it is still solid. That is absolutely not a valid excuse when every single one of these vehicles are covered in smoke launchers. Covered. It's been something that we've been using since World War II. APS literally shoots a bullet with a bullet. You shoot a rocket with a rocket. You shoot something out of the air that is trying to kill you. If we are at that point of technology, we should be able to go poof. We should be able to deploy our pocket sand and disappear however many times we want. Now, there is balance in play, of course. But that's insane. That's insane. Why are there so many things that we can pick on that make Russia more powerful than the US? It's just like, and I feel like this is just, added to the list.
I think now, I wonder where Bacon got that, but now it's 52% of the battles are won by Russian decks or something like that, which isn't a big.
It's going to be more once people figure it out, because here's the other thing too.
We'll have to definitely wait, because I think it was 2% more towards America in the beginning of the release.
All that's going to happen.
It'll shift back and forth and then kind of balance out somewhere.
I so doubt it, dude. Dude, all I'm seeing happening is the reason that people aren't playing Russia more is because it's the people that aren't autistic like we are and know or have played a million of these games or follow OSINT. They don't know. Yeah. They don't know the types of T90s. They don't know the types of infantry. Yeah. They don't know the million types of RPGs. But once they do, they're going to start playing Russia, and then people are going to realize this. Yeah. Genuinely, I don't know how many times that I think maybe let's give me a limit. I was right. Can we have a Nolan was right limit to for history about the Russian meta thing? Can we just say, I don't know, ask chat too. Let me be able to say, give me 2 cards. Let me be able to say it twice. I'll pick once, and I won't even use it right now, but I'll just bring up the topic.
Have to wait. We just have
I know,
to
dude, but
I think people do get angry when, you keep saying I'm right.
They definitely do. They definitely do.
So I think it's better just to let the stats do the talking.
100%. With that being said, did you happen to recognize or play against any of the top players in the world?
I think so, a couple times, yeah.
Did you happen to remember what they were playing?
Mostly just Russian armored columns, as I said.
Yeah. Every single coordinated team that's in the top 100 players in the world that I played against, they're playing Russia. And they were specifically playing Russian armored and Russian air. What did I bring up in my video? Russian air. Not only that, but there's a couple of people that are in the comments of that video saying, yeah, you just missed this 100%. There's a million things you have wrong. When I asked them to elaborate, they didn't. And then when we play against them, what are they doing? They're playing Russian air. So
you might get things wrong, but I think the general, the average of what we're saying is correct, though.
Yeah.
I would say. To put it just, unbiased. Yeah. I think there's a lot of things they need to balance. I think with the hours that we already had in the game before it even came out, I think we can make a good educated guess of what is probably gonna happen and what is happening now.
Exactly.
So I think we're just still keeping it. What's the word? Still keeping it modest. I think we're in a good position to make a relatively well-educated guess without, going completely haywire. Yeah. And I mean, the stats will definitely talk for themselves when the game is more maturing and when the reviews come in and the general opinion on Discord and about the game and balancing and stuff.
Yeah,
But so far I think your opinions hold. Yeah, I mean, armor is just the gameplay that we were guessing was gonna definitely become a quote unquote meta early on is definitely the meta.
Yeah, something that, and you know what, you can speak to this because you this is your IRL world.
Mm.
So when it's coming from a point of information, so somebody goes, you test. This is going to be way out of my league here, but I'm gonna hit
Oh
into
yeah.
like science and side things. So
Still like
somebody,
ABC,
yeah,
X, Y.
somebody, somebody comes up with a hypothesis. They go and they test it, and they go and discover something new that
Mm.
the rest of the world hasn't discovered yet, and they have people that disagree with them. What is the process with that? Because that's
Um.
genuinely where like
Yeah.
I'm not guys, I'm not intelligent. It's just I played the game a lot, and this is just numbers. So that's what I'm
Mm.
trying to tell people, like, hey, this is the numbers that I'm seeing. So like I'm looking for help with how I go forward. If God forbid, if I figure out something else, or if I find something else, like how else am I supposed to go forward with explaining that to people, or just bringing it up to people in general? You know what I mean? So what's that process like in your world?
Okay. So if I do something and it shows a result, I repeat it a couple times, usually 3. Then then I do a statistical test. If it's actually statistical significance, then it's out there. And if people don't agree, they can redo the experiments themselves. And if they come to a completely different result and everyone else also does, then I am probably wrong. But if they come to the same result and then a third person doesn't come to the same result, a fourth one and a fifth one still come to my result, then there's one outlier and my opinion, or not opinion, but my results are then the theory. And the theory, you keep testing it, keep testing it. Oh, there's a patch. Okay, let's test it again, see if the tanks are OP or if this is underpowered. And then you kind of go, you just keep testing it. The theory is valid until it's disproven. So if you say tanks are, or if you say X is overpowered, right? And it seems like it, and other people come to the same conclusion, then that is the theory. If someone proves you wrong and their result is reproducible, then that's the new theory. Basically, whatever the general group as an average population points towards with their experiments, trials, whatever, that is the quote unquote truth. Some people might disagree, but that's the beauty of theories. It doesn't care if you disagree with it or not. It is the truth until it's proven otherwise. And
Got it.
even proving it wrong has to be done by even a larger group.
Got
And
it.
that's also what peer review does. They check, okay, you've done this and that, and this person has done that. You show the same result, okay, you're good. Or we want you to test additional things, metrics. Uh, maybe not to look at, okay, how many matches were done, how many were won by America, but maybe look at gameplay hours versus how many of those gameplay hours they spent on America or Russia, and how many percent of that they won or lost playing as either team. So yeah, that's how you would go with it. You can say something, and people can disagree, but then they have to come up with proof. They can't just say, "Well, you're wrong because I did this." Well, you're
Right.
just n equals one. You're just one person. If
Right.
other people agree with you, then who's right? At that point.
Yeah. Um.
So, yeah, you just need data points. More data points is better.
Yeah. And another thing that comes up with my streams a lot too is my tone, of course,
Mm.
as people are probably used to if they've been listening to this many episodes of the debrief, or anybody that's listening to my stream. And of course, that you of all people would be used to, because we've been playing these games together
Yeah,
for
I'm used to it. Yeah,
what's this now, 13 years, going on 13 years we've been playing these games together.
I think so. Yeah,
Something like that. It's at least easily 10 because of war game, right? Actually no, easily
yeah.
12. So yeah, it's been like 13 years.
Checking the release date, War Game. Yeah, 2014. But we played
The
earlier before
beta,
that,
yeah,
so
it was
yeah,
like the
12
airline
years I would
battle
say.
stuff. Yeah, something like that. So my main problem is uh that I grew up, with competitive sports. I grew up with hockey. Everybody is in tense situations. Everybody talks to each other like this fucking, whatever you want to call it, like this macho
Yeah.
shit. It's just like no bullshit, just like get your shit done, like all that kind of stuff. So I have that upbringing. But at the same time, I'm not good at talking to people. I'm not good at being in tense situations. And, you know, even though ironically the name is NoiceGuy, I'm not good at portraying that. So there's been a few times now in the last week where I'll just be trying to talk to somebody. I'll be trying to, explain a situation mid-game to somebody. And then I've got people on Reddit or people that are in my comments saying like, bro, you are an asshole. I'm like, I am? It's because like, what's the difference between talking like one and being like one? Because what I'm doing is I'm failing in the talking department.
Right.
I'm failing in that for sure, but I don't know if I can change at this point. I'm 31. I don't know. I can attempt to, and there's going to be good times, there's going to be bad times, but of course people are going to realize the bad more than the good. So that's something that you're able to go through. That's something that, Pius and all of our buddies that we've been playing with for this long are just like, oh, that's just Nolan. But most people are starting to realize like for instance, there was somebody that I was playing with the other day who I guess has a good following for this game. We were playing literally the best players in the world, the top 5 team, and that top 5 team, they have meetings on what decks they're going to use on what map and how they're going to use them in what position. And I know exactly those tactics. I know exactly what is beneficial for those maps with certain units. So he had an F-18 out which is slow. That's one of the slower planes in the game, and it also already shot. So theoretically, if there were, let's say, 2 or 3 Su-35Ss out there, that F-18 is doing nothing but dying. That is the reality. You are not killing maybe even one of those Su-35s. So I simply just said, after he said something along the lines of like, oh, should I go check or should I keep it out? Like, he genuinely asked a question. I said, no, bring it back. Me saying, no, bring it back like that is now I'm an asshole. It's just like, it's a tense situation. I'm trying to micro my own units, and it's just like, what the fuck, dude?
You should hear some recordings that I took of Nolan when we were playing Wargame. We just scream at each other and like, F-bombs
and then afterwards we're just like, all right, talk to you tomorrow. Yep, all right.
Yeah, good game.
Yeah.
That's
that's the way it happens. Yeah, it's just like, I don't understand it, but anyway.
I'm not gonna be like, hey, Mr. NoiceGuy, your unit is dead. Never mind.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be like, hey, move your fucking tank. There's an ATGM coming, or hey, there's a seaplane. Turn off your A. Like, it'll.
You're just trying to talk quick.
We're gonna like.
Yeah. You're just trying to talk quick.
Fast. Get to the point.
Yeah. Anyway,
get to the point, man.
Yeah, that's been, and this might not be interesting to people if they're just trying to learn about the game and stuff like that. But that genuinely is like, that's some of the struggles that we had this week. So that's kind of the point of having a podcast, is like, you talk about if we do a weekly episode, which we're going to attempt to do. That's the stuff. That was the struggles that came up this week, and that's kind of like, that's topical because that's what we're involved with anyway. So that's the state of what I think for balance. I still thoroughly believe everything that I believed before. I'm glad that they did listen in some points. Actually, you know what? This is proper timing for this stuff. For anyone that was following, they did listen to me on some things. They did lower the amount of artillery on some of those units for Russia. And what was the other thing? They increased the amount of some of the planes for the United States. So you used to only have the availability. You used to only be able to get 2 F-35As with SF for the US, and now you can get 4. Of course, there were some other changes, which are, God help me if those F-35As don't get one shot. They love to get one shot. You just see that missile coming. Even if it's dodging other ones, you are gonna see it at some point. It's like, okay, this one's tracking. Okay, I'm dead. Like, yeah, they love to get one shot. It's because they're a little too slow, but that is quote unquote realistic. So they are listening to some things. They are changing some things. So I think eventually we're gonna make some progress here. I just think there's a limit to it because it's Russian devs, and and at the end of the day, we want the game to be interesting. Like we do. So if we make it realistic, the US is just going to end up stomping them in the air anyway. And you make it interesting, just have it be a game. So
exactly. It needs to be enjoyable, balanced somewhat,
Yeah. So all things considered, they might actually be going at it the right way, where they make the US super underpowered and then slowly incrementally bring it up to snuff with Russia. I think that might actually be a better way. Well, depends on if it actually ends up happening, but if they actually are attempting to do this, but if they are being truthful with us and they actually do believe it's balanced the way that it is, we're in some trouble. But luckily, there's some mod support and stuff like that. Anything else that you want to touch on?
Artillery.
On that side? Okay, go ahead.
There's way too much. Holy shit, man. Like, I've
Yeah.
had some game. Okay, so it's not in every game that I feel that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me cut it 1 sec. Because this is going to be my rebuttal. Not a rebuttal. This is going to be I'll bring this up. In my mind, it's a new player situation because it's such a click and things die. New players just gravitate towards it. So just bring this up in your discussion on it. So go ahead.
I'll look at it from that point of view. So whenever I do have a low level player in the team, yes, there will be a lot of artillery most of the time. They'll not know what they're doing. They'll get artillery, they'll get planes, they lose them all, they get countered, whatever. But in matches with level 10 to 20 people, I still see so much artillery being used. So these are experienced, quote unquote. And it really sucks out the fun of that match for me when everything just gets artied and blasted. MLRS, HE rockets, napalm rockets, of which you can see the rocket trail, so it's hard to counter. That's a different issue. For me, it just sucks the fun out of it. Like, we thought there was a lot of RD in Wargame. It's like times 10 now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like it. I like it to be used, sure. Use your RD. But if you're fighting against a 5-man team and one goes dedicated support artillery as Russia, you are gonna get wrecked. It is unbelievably powerful. That's kind of just my experience. I like to just use the units on the ground with some artillery here and there for surgical strikes, yes. But, man, what I'm doing now is I got into an engagement with something. Okay, I'm moving everything away from like a 200-meter radius because I'm probably going to get MLRS. And it does happen. Then I just move back. So that way I do counter it. But I can, if I look at it from the general perspective of the general group of people, I think a lot of people are going to get annoyed by just the amount of artillery flying everywhere.
So, go ahead. Do you have more?
Yeah, that's done.
All right. So
I'm done.
So off the top of your head there, what do you see as counters?
Getting recon behind them. I feel like that's the only counter. If you're playing against someone that is no. There's a couple counters you can do.
Well, no, just recon and behind them. What else is?
Oh, so recon behind them. Counter battery is one thing to keep them busy.
Above.
And just moving.
I would say above. Recon above is the answer. I think.
Yeah, recon is the strongest suit.
Recon behind
actually get counters.
Yeah, recon behind the lines, that's Wargame 101, so that's now Broken Arrow 101. Like you need to be doing that. But for artillery, it needs to be eyes on, and in my opinion, and again, this is going the route of something that I've already explained.
Yeah.
Artillery nowadays versus artillery, it's just too slow. I don't see artillery as a counter to artillery when it's competent players, because you are going to move. They are going to have moved. Yesterday, I snuck a sniper team into a high rise, which, for those who don't know on this topic, high rises equal longer range, longer sight lines for everything, for your infantry. So if you have an ATGM squad, put them in a high rise. If you have actually, I don't know if it works for manpads because it's still air. Yeah, I don't think it works for manpads, but ATGMs it does work, and sightlines it works, because if you are higher up, chances are you can see over things. So, get your sniper teams, get your recon squads, and get your ATGMs into those high rises in those urban maps and watch them flourish. Anyway, I did that, and I just saw, oh, look at that. There's a couple of attackums over there, and you see them moving around, and I saw them shoot, and I literally, for like 2 minutes, I'm just like, I was talking to chat, I'm just like, these are going there. I had the Tu-22 with the fast cruise missiles, and I saw them shoot a couple. I saw both of them heading towards a tree line, and I'm like, I bet my life they're both going to that tree line. So right when they started, just right when they were about to get to that tree line, fucking Tu-22 out, triple tap P, and Lo and behold, they're both right there. So it's eyes above. Ideally, it's almost like drones are useless. So it's like they just get shot down constantly. So that's another topic for another day. But with the United States, that stealth drone, man, you've probably seen it happen plenty of times to on the opposing end too. Man, that thing loves to just not get spotted. Even when I have a plane out with the 12,000, I'm practically next to it before it spots it. So I don't know if they buff the shit out of that thing or what. In fact, I'm gonna pull it up
It's
real
like a
quick.
B2, man. Whenever I see him, it's already above my shit.
Exactly. And the counter to that is still you get planes out to spot them, but bro, that was not happening in the April test with how close I got. That was not happening. And they only got a stealth of 175 compared to the other ones where they've got the three or they've got the oh wait, no, what am I smoking? No, it's all 175. Never mind.
What I do with that one is I just yeet it forward and then call in a nuke. It's guaranteed.
Right.
Call in a stealth drone, call in a B2 with a nuke, you're good.
Yeah, but dude, seeing that thing when I've got a, SU-35 or a MiG-35 or a MiG-29 or whatever with the 12K optics, 12K aerial optics, high elevation optics, I'm practically right next to it. I'm just like, oh, poof, there it is. Like, goddamn. Okay. So this is actually super important. So if you see people using Sentinels, guys, get your planes out to spot. Even if you don't need a gun run, man, you are in trouble if you do not spot those stealth drones, man. They're just going to spot everything. So
True.
I think I don't think there's enough people that are properly countering artillery. Whether or not that becomes a thing or not is yet to be seen. I think we're in a different age than we were back in 2013. I think that, metas and the environment around content creators like ourselves who put that information out there, and I saw it firsthand with Escape from Tarkov. I mean, how much does Escape from Tarkov hold your hand? Fucking none. And yet every single one of us that play that game knows where the golden pocket watch is. We know exactly where the next thing. We know exactly where all these rooms are. We know the common spawns for all this stuff.
It's in the truck construction.
Yeah, and it's all because of shared information between content creators, the wikis, all that stuff.
True.
The ability to build these communities and share information is just so fucking prolific these days. I want to see what happens on that end of things. And once people realize artillery kind of sucks. It's important, but it kind of fucking sucks. It's going to be less. It's if you guys are a newer player and you're listening to us right now, do not go in the air and do not use artillery. I understand that it's point and click. I understand there's going to be situations where you're going to want to smoke some stuff. There's going to be situations where it's just out of reach and you need to kill that thing. It's going to suck. But the amount of damage that you're doing to your ability to learn the game by not just trying to push through with IFVs or to, it's going to be IFVs. Let's be honest. It's IFVs. To be able to maneuver your front line and your units to be able to get to that point or just, move so that the artillery doesn't hit you, which granted, I understand that some cases you can't if it's too overwhelming. You just don't do it. Just learn the ground game before you learn the arty game. And wait until you have, let's say, 3 situations where you're like, damn, I really wish I had an artillery piece to hit that, just that thing. If it's conventional HE artillery, chances are it's not going to kill it immediately. It's not that effective. It's good at stunning things. It's fucking fantastic at destroying supply depots. That's what they're great at. That's what they're really good at, and that's what you should focus on when you're pushing is
unless you got a recon behind them.
Absolutely, and you can laser designate stuff. That's different. That's different.
Yeah,
and,
that's a different one.
And from a gameplay perspective, that's cool. That's fucking cool doing all that stuff. So, play the game the way that you want to play the game. There's some times where we have conversations, God forbid we have conversations where we do deviate to, if you want to, improve, if you want to get better at the PvP, that's something that I suggest people do. Don't fucking fuck around with artillery. You're just doing, you're not helping yourself. Just worry about the ground game before you worry about the air game from both a flight and artillery perspective is my suggestion. Anyway. I do agree there's a little bit too much artillery, but like I said, I think with some time and with some understanding, people are going to push through it because Oh,
think so.
brother, I forgot. I have a fucking amazing game to show people. How many times have you heard me talk about like if you know somebody's trying to hit you with artillery and cruise missiles, just take the thing that they're obviously trying to kill, go set it in the middle of a field, and then count to 10, then move it. You remember me saying that?
I bait them now.
I
I bait
know
people
shit.
to do it.
I know shit did it for an entire game. I had the
Dude.
entire economy. I had the entire United States economy of cruise missiles and artillery shot at me over the entirety of a game, and I made these guys look like they were utterly just blind. They missed every single time, or it was just close enough that I just turned my radar on with some of the like the barrier uses and stuff, and it was just no use.
It works wonders, man. It's
Yeah,
so good.
it was just no use. So I cannot wait to show that game. I'm gonna quickly try and find it. Talk about.
I do that now with yeah, I do that now with AA sometimes. When I know they have a drone, I just keep my AA there.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Sometimes they just bomb it, and then I just destroy them with the plane I have on standby or something.
Yeah.
Bait tactics are a big thing.
Oh, the things
Bait is great.
100%. So that's the easiest counter. So the easiest counter is they want to use it. Give them something to use it on, and then be ready. Be ready. Know that that is the thing that they're going to use it on. Just move it.
Yeah.
Just move it. Bring a
Just move forehead.
Yeah, just move forward. I'm still trying to find it. It's possible I don't find it. Did I not record it? That would be gut wrenching if I did not record this game.
Knowing you probably only recorded audio or something.
There we go. I got it. I found it.
Okay.
I
I was gonna say.
I put it on my virtual
Probably
camera.
just like recorded audio at 8-bit.
Yeah. I'm pulling this up for you. Let's see if we can find. It was so consistent, bro. Once I moved up.
I see it.
Yeah. Also, this is another thing too. This is one of the things. So you got Hell March playing. So I float up to 3,000 points while still supporting the team. Float up to 3,000 points by an entire push. And I do mean an entire push, like an entire vehicle tab with AA, and I just go, and I've done it to amazing success. It's been fantastic success. But you need teammates that can hold the line. You do need teammates that can hold the line, and again, you do need to support. So, and it's if the enemy lets you do it. Oh, I forgot this was a mirror match, so this wasn't the U.S. But dude, they had both of the Catrans in the back. They had these Tu-22s. They had the airburst artillery. It was a constant rainfall of cruise missiles. If we can find just one moment here. Constant rainfall. I mean, if you've seen it once, you've seen it all, every time. It's just loads of it. Obviously, one massive one just happened there. But just like, yeah, just literally that all game, and just moved out of that way. Just put it in front and just move it. And I guess I missed a big one. Oh, they kept trying to airdrop on top of me too. I'll post this game at some point, but yeah, here comes another one. Here comes more. It's just obvious. Yeah, it's just obvious what they're doing. It's just like, okay, I guess I'll shoot them out. But it's just like, when are they gonna stop trying? And they just never did. And it's constant misses. This is
so much ammunition
crazy.
That
Yeah. That one got close. That one did get close. He almost got me on that one. But
that one got you puckered up.
Yeah, that one got close. But they tried it all fucking game.
Supplies cost a lot of money, so it helps to do this.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Which is cool. I like it.
Yeah, it genuinely benefits if you let them do that. Spend 10 hours in deck building. Perfect timing there. Armchair General. People were saying they named an achievement after you. I'm like, no, people were Armchair Generals long before me. I actually just got spend 10 hours in the deck builder. Anyway, yeah, that gameplay was laggy. Is the stream laggy? I hope not. I'm gonna stop my virtual cam. That might have actually caused some problems because I'm recording on top.
Probably just the video. So whatever. I've had some performance issues as well when my frame drops to 3 FPS. Alt F4ing and getting back in seems to work. So if you get that ever, just do that. I don't know what it is, but
did the stream
I'll
fix?
have 60 frames and then suddenly it'll dive to like 2 or 3 FPS.
Yeah.
While in game. I think it's a memory issue or something, but I don't know. Alt F4ing and restarting seems to work. You can rejoin the game anyways.
Yeah, it's been not obviously, but anybody that's been following me, it's been hell. My settings, I've had constant struggles with my settings.
He's all fucked up, guys.
Yeah. 6 months ago it was fine. Could stream on YouTube and Twitch and record, no problem. I something changed between now and then. I don't know what it was, but
Something changed with you, man.
but I think that is the conclusion of our week 1 stuff. Is there something else that you wanted to bring up?
Scenarios. I'm gonna make some scenarios. That's all I want to say.
That's what I was going to go into as well.
Yeah.
I have made mine, and I am going to get very, very just into scenarios.
Yeah, I need to get my hands on the tools, get used to it, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rip all the audio from World in Conflict and the videos, put them in there, and remake all those missions.
So
It's
mine,
cool, dude.
yeah, mine is live up on the workshop right now. It's called Test Your Opener. Are you full? Immediately after we're done recording this, I'm gonna go do the U.S. version of this, so you can do it against U.S. planes and USAA. And then I'm going to go into test your opener, or just test your front line, maybe is a different word I'm going to use for it. I'm going to do it against ground units. So a proper supported armored push of some kind, both easy, medium, and hard difficulties, so that you can genuinely just boot up a scenario and quickly test the things that you want to test.
That's a cool idea.
And practice. So they're dual use. All of these are test units in a very particular situation and/or practice. That is the whole shtick of this. And then also, like I mentioned before, I would very much like to set something up, create something that would be a 3v3 mode where the maps are smaller, the economy has changed a little bit, and things just change up a little bit. Things just in terms of like the spawns or something. I'm gonna think of something, and I'm gonna mess around with that myself. So stay tuned for that.
Cool idea.
For sure. Stay tuned. I'm actually super excited for it. I'd like to get into it. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for a hell of a lot more gameplay. We're not doing a very good job of playing together, but we'll solve that soon. We'll solve that soon. So, what do you got planned in terms of particulars? Have you been playing U.S. or Russia too much? And you got some decks that you want to check out this week or something like that people can look forward to?
Yeah, I got some cool gameplay videos out, but I also want to make some more specialized decks, like
exactly, yeah.
Search and Destroy, Recon, Artillery Counter, that kind of stuff. A bit more specialized, but we'll see.
I think I've hit pretty much everything that I want to hit. It's just it's weird trying to figure out how I want to play the US after playing so much Russia. It is very different, and I think to dip back into the balance side of things too real quick here too is I almost think that you absolutely need at least one other person with you when you're playing the US to just coordinate with, not to coordinate with, but just to cooperate with the way that some of these vehicles work in particular. And if you still go the whole ass one thing, don't half-ass two things, whole ass one thing route, in particular with the US at a high level, you're missing so many other things that, again, you genuinely need a second person. So I'm going to try and weave my way through that, particularly when it comes to the armor stuff. Like I said, I've been dominating as Russia armored and mechanized and air. By the way, my airborne deck, it's the VDV Coastal. Yeah. Dude, it can do everything. You need to check this deck out.
Oh yeah, I got a VDV Coastal. Yeah, I'm looking at it. I was adjusting it now, actually.
It can do everything except artillery, which who gives a fuck? It can do everything.
Very similar to yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got SPGs, Cherny Vedetti.
This is the main thing here. It's this entire line of the rocket helicopters, which I might switch to all S13s. That is another thing. I might test all S13s where I've been staggering them between S13s and S8s because S13s slam, while S8s you need to get a little bit closer and it's more suppress. But the S13s just slam so good. I think I just need to go maybe full S13 because these things kill Abrams. You shoot them in the side, they'll kill Abrams. These rockets. And I've got 8 of these helicopters here, so I'm gonna do some more testing of that. But that's just one tab. This, you dominate the air. You
Yeah.
dominate the air. I'll send one of these against a Raptor. Any fucking plane in the U.S. arsenal in this game, every day of the week. A little bit of seed here, but yeah. So dominate the sky. Insane helicopter spam. Still solid. It's not the best that you can have. Solid mid-range SAMs. Great.
It's good, man.
Yeah, great SHORAD. These are not the best tanks in the game, and yet they're fucking fast and they can get the job done. I have killed so many Abrams with these BVMs. I've had so much fun with these BVMs. These BMP3Fs, they're not the BMP3Ms, which are obviously a little bit stronger, but they're still right there with it. They're fantastic. Infantry, they're support. They can hold stuff. They can shoot some. They can shoot some ATGMs. They can
much
shoot.
have the same deck.
Yeah. And bro, these VMF, they slaughter light vehicles and infantry
That is
in
honestly
urban.
more than enough. If you look at your recon tab as well.
Yeah. I think this
Solid
might be the best deck in the game. I think I'm gonna go ahead and say it. This might be the best deck in the game.
Yeah. I think for America, the one that kind of comes close is Marine Armored.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you are kind of somewhat lacking in the air tab, and the helo tab is for sure wrecked in Marine Armored.
Yeah. I do want to add, of course, everybody can have their take on this, but what I mean is literally Russian VDV Marine, I think is the best because of what you can put there. I think it is the best deck in the game. I think it is. And then maybe, I mean, you know what? Solid week 1 discussion here. Actually, we can finish off with that. I think that is the best Russian deck that I have. Which there's a lot of takers. There's a lot of contenders there. I have a lot of other decks that I fucking slam with, but genuinely speaking, you can do whatever you want, and you can have whatever effect you want on the game with that Airborne Marine deck. And then I think my Striker SF deck is the best. I think the Striker SF combo is the best US. However, going back to what I was saying before, where I feel like with the US you need a second person. No US team is winning a game without armored. You're not going to win the game without armored. So I am going to do some more testing with armor SF and see how that goes. That might take the spot. That might take my spot, but I haven't tested it enough. And it's a bit too slow. It's a bit too slow. These tanks are just, again, a bit too slow. That's my take. What do you think, Bolt?
I like Spec Ops Striker. It's an enjoyable deck. It's cool units in there. It's honestly one of my favorites to play. I wouldn't say it's the strongest. Definitely not.
What would you say for the US then?
The best one, in my opinion, just kind of all around, I would go Marine Armored if you don't want to rely too much on your teammates. You do lack helis, but otherwise you do have decent everything else. Yeah, I mean, you obviously have good armor. You have MLRS, you have Iron Thunders for countering. You have Pack 2s, which aren't great, but at least you have some decent AA.
I mean, it's the best you can put out there as a US. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have Pack 3s with 12 missiles or whatever, but
range-wise.
Yeah, you got decent infantry, you got decent recon. You just don't have drones and helicopters. That's your big downside.
Pack F2s love to one-shot. I've had so many one-shots with the Pack 2s now. So those are something to bring up there on the balance discussion. Those Pack 2s are one-shotting machines right now. I do gotta disagree on being the best. It's a great deck. I think it's a solid beginner deck. But yeah, the what you got for the helicopter and the air tab is just not enough.
Yeah.
In my opinion, as the US. But valid. What do you think for Russia?
Let me see. The one I enjoy is Moto Mech. I love that deck. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
The one I think I would play if I'm fighting good players, I'll probably go Armored Moto.
Armored Moto?
Yeah. It's not the best in my opinion. I think VDV Coastal is also the best, I do agree, but Armored Moto I think is a nice one to play.
That is my urban deck. I fucking stomped with that yesterday. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Good infantry, you got good tanks. I mean, it's armored. You got good tanks, you still have good helis, Mi-28s, Mi-24s. And
what
your
tanks?
air tab is not that bad. You get MiG-29s.
Yeah. What tanks you put in there?
I have 3 T-90M Arenas, 2 T-80UMs, and Terminators just for the fun factor.
You went UM
For me, there's
over
always extra.
you went UM over
Yeah,
Stora?
the Storas. Yeah.
You went UM over Stora.
I have the Stora, yeah. I have the one
Okay,
you
yeah,
have.
no, Stora. Stora it's, every day of the week. If you actually look at the stats, Stora every day of the
Yeah.
week. For sure. Yeah, dude, that's kind of what I have too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's good. It's nice. You actually have some drones as well, although they're shit. And you can call them
I don't use
MiG-29s,
it.
which are quite
Yeah.
cheap for decent
Yeah.
missiles. So
I just use it for the
it's nice.
optics, and that SU-25T can ripple fire those Vickers, and they can laze itself, so it's pretty dope.
Oh yeah, true.
Did you take a look at the Sturmoviki? So the Sturmoviki with their assault shield loadout get 4 smokes,
Oh shit.
and they can be transported in the BMOT, which get 2.
That's pretty cool.
So I'm going to test a bit of that today. Yeah, I'm going to test a bit of that today. So the Sturmoviki and the BMOTs are going to be at the front of all of my urban pushes with this deck from now on. And I literally don't care if they die. I'm just putting out a instantaneous smoke field. Yeah, that's all they're doing. And you know what? It's also perfect because they're storm infantry. They're anti-infantry storm. They have shotguns. So put them in people's faces. So it's the perfect setup. Just all of the smoke. Yes, smoke in front, and then maybe some T-15s right behind that, and then tanks behind that, and just fucking roll, dude. All right, that is our week 1 debrief. We are 1 week down, 11 years to go. 11 or 12 years. That's we'll see how long this takes. Probably that was the amount of time it took to get here from Wargame. That's why I was mentioning it like that. But if you guys got anything to add, if you have decks that you want us to check out, we have lots and lots and lots of ideas for discussions and whatnot in here for the debrief, and we want to get you guys involved in many, many different ways. But we can do live deck roasts if we want. We can do funny decks. We can do thematic decks. We can do mod reviews. We can do scenario reviews. Lots and lots and lots of stuff. The world is opening for us. I forget what the... I forget what the analogy is there, or the metaphor is there, whatever the fucking word is. But
just stop recording.
Yeah, just that was Debrief Podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you go follow Bolt. He is doing some great gameplay now that we don't got to worry about Warno no more. You gonna go back to Warno? I saw some other people were going back to Warno.
Occasionally, maybe, yeah. I mean, mostly this though.
But he's got not just Warno, but now Broken Arrow. Yeah. So make sure to go give that man a follow. He is streaming over there on YouTube. Do you stream on Twitch?
Nope, YouTube.
Yeah, so make sure everything is going to be in that link in the description. Make sure to go give him a follow. And, of course, I wouldn't mind one as well over here on the Autistic Armchair General, a.k.a. NoiceGuy's second channel. Lots more to come, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and hope you have a nice day. See you guys.